Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, the markets right now are certainly chaotic. But although the markets are chaotic, what we're seeing from the Trump administration is not chaos. It's strategy, which is exactly what we were saying the other day. You know, just like I previously said, they're trying to spin this as Trump just being reckless, a bull in the china shop, right? He's unhinged and he's erratic and just causing all kinds of hurt. He's going to crash the economy, start a trade war. I mean, just cue the hysterics and hyperventilating on all the big media finance shows. But despite all the panic and despite all the accusations targeting Trump, at the end of the day, there is a plan here. And most importantly, there seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not just blanket tariffs for the sake of tariffs. It's not about crashing the economy or making things more expensive or reducing global trade. It's about negotiation, leverage, playing hardball. Clearly something no one in Washington can wrap their tiny mind around. And look, it's not just me saying it. Donald Trump just confirmed my suspicion. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. Of course, let's try to continue to bring the emotional state down and have the real conversation that the media clearly wants to avoid. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this.
I think it's going very well. It was an operation, like when a patient gets operated on, and it's a big thing. I said this would exactly be the way it is. We have $6 or $7 trillion coming into our country, and we've never seen anything like it. The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal? They've taken advantage of us for many, many years. For many years, we've been at the wrong side of the ball, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be unbelievable. The thing that people have to talk about, we're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country, and you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
I mean, boom, there it is. It's not just about punishment. It's not about attacking American economic trading partners. It's not about shutting down trade or walling off America from the rest of the world. It's about forcing renegotiation. It's about targeting the worst offenders, the trade cheaters, the currency manipulators, the tariff kings. It's about sending a message to the worst offenders and forcing them to get to the table, to negotiate, to make a deal, and hopefully play fair. What Donald Trump is doing, and what he did so visually the other day with the list that the White House released, was identifying the bad actors and putting them on notice. He's saying very clearly, if you want access to our markets, the biggest, the richest, the most powerful market on earth, you're going to have to start playing fair. You're going to have to start respecting the United States. And if they don't, well, who do you think has more to lose? But of course, the left and the establishment type thinkers either don't want to see it or don't see it. But these are the same idiots who gave us NAFTA, the same people who cheered on the TPP. They're the same people who exported American jobs to China and Mexico for the last 3 decades. And well, now all of a sudden they're pretending to care about the US economy. Give me a break. They only care about one thing: their booming stock portfolios that have benefited from these tariffs and the outsourcing for cheap labor. I mean, just think about it. Who's upset right now? The American people or the globalist parasites who've been raking in billions off the broken system that Donald Trump is now trying to fix? And that right there is an important word, the word fix. The left is telling you that Trump is trying to break everything, but really what he's trying to do is not impose forever tariffs. He's trying to make deals. It's exactly like I said just yesterday. I don't think most of these tariffs are going to last, because guess what's probably happening right now? I think the White House is receiving more phone calls than they've ever received before. I'm pretty sure every world leader across the globe whose country is now facing these American tariffs is probably spam ringing the Oval Office, trying to get a phone call or a sit-down meeting with President Trump.
And those tariffs have come in, and every country's called us. That's the beauty of what we do. We put ourselves in the driver's seat. If we would have asked some of these countries, almost most of these countries, to do us a favor, they would have said no. Now they'll do anything for us.
But are you open to deals with these countries if they're calling you?
Well, it depends. If somebody said that we're going to give you something that's so phenomenal, as long as they're giving us something that's good.
And clearly the left can't see that. And here's a perfect example of them not being able to see that. This hilarious post from little Chris Mowry. Insurrection Barbie once tweeted, "Yes, the stock market is going to react negatively to this in the short term. There will be short-term pain. Nobody ever said that there wouldn't. But there will also be an actual economy that's not based on government spending and printing money, but on manufacturing and on building something." That was her most recent tweet. But then Chris Mowry responds with an old tweet from Insurrection Barbie, where she says tariffs are a negotiating tactic. In the first term, President Trump threatened many tariffs that he did not follow through on because, unlike the current leadership, Donald Trump understands how to leverage his position. And then Chris Mowry writes, "This you?" As if he's caught her in some big contradiction. But he hasn't, and it's clear that these leftists can't wrap their head around the concept. There's no contradiction here. If anything, it's now a fully fledged argument. Exactly. There will be some short-term dips and some short-term pain through the implementation or the threats of these tariffs, but in the end, the whole purpose is to get something beneficial for America, or possibly for both nations. Actual free trade deals. What the Trump administration is doing right now is precise, it's planned, it's thought out. And in my view, it's time for a change. How long can you keep doing the same thing over and over again, the same status quo that's clearly not working for regular people? Regular Americans are falling further and further behind. How long do you continue down that path that clearly isn't working until you say, okay, look, it's time to pivot? I think J.D. Vance explained it quite clearly.
For 40 years, we've had an economy that rewards people who ship American jobs overseas and raises taxes on American workers, and we're flipping that on its head. We're going to cut taxes for American workers and for American companies that build here. We're going to make it harder to ship American jobs overseas. It's a total shift in the way that we've done economic policy in the United States of America, but it was necessary. So, yeah, we're going to cut your taxes. You're going to have more money in your pocket, and that's, of course, going to help you deal with the cost of inflation. But that's not about offsetting the tariffs. They work together. We want to penalize people for shipping our jobs overseas. We want to reward hardworking Americans. It's all part of the same policy.
Exactly. 40 years down the same globalist path. And where are we? Closed factories, shuttered cities, inflation, a housing market that nobody can afford, headed towards $40 trillion in debt? Just go to Detroit, go to Ohio. Something is not working for the average American. And so it's time for a change. It's time for a different outlook. That's the whole point. And yes, change is difficult. Disruption, volatility, uncertainty. But we can't afford doing the same damn thing expecting different results. And Trump is taking a bold, aggressive step to disrupt the status quo. Because the status quo has been a failure. It's been a failure for regular working class people and now for this next generation that's trying to have the same life that their parents had. But clearly the asset class isn't so happy, right? Because those who have benefited from the outsourcing of labor, well, their money-printing slave labor dreams are now possibly about to go up in smoke. So look, I know it's scary when the market fluctuates like this, but you can't fall for the fear-mongering. The media is going to tell you we're headed towards a black hole, there's no future, it's the end of America as we know it. But clearly there's a light at the end of the tunnel, just as Trump said. The purpose is to renegotiate to get new trade deals that are fair, not imbalanced. And what's likely to happen now, despite all the posturing, they will come to the table because their economic survival essentially depends on it. And so what's likely to happen in the next coming months is a lot of deals are signed. And on top of that, probably some jobs and production is going to be onshored. And so there is an outlook. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a black abyss. And I think Trump's most recent statement relating to the strategy of these tariffs essentially speaks to that. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.